And he is an excellent teacher. In reading the student reviews and in interviewing the students, I constantly hear how he engages them, and he is passionate about his topics. And he brings out the best in each one of the students because he engages them personally. And he makes even topics as pedantic as theological history interesting. Now you try to put theology and history together, and you're getting a lot of blank stares, but this man can put it together and make it interesting for people. And what a great testimony to his teaching that is. But I think what's more important is Billy's demeanor and relationship to our students outside the classroom, because a great deal of teaching happens there. And I'm always pleased when I walk down the hallway. Every time Billy's in his office, he's never alone, because he spends his time with our students, both in and outside of the classroom, counseling, mentoring, praying, involving them in discussions beyond just the literature and the material of the class, but delving into their lives and finding out what makes them tick, and how to make them not just better students, but better people. And for that reason, I'm very privileged to introduce you tonight, our Educator of the Year, Captain Billy Francis.
Well, that is uncomfortable to hear those things, but thank you so much. I appreciate you saying all those kind of things, Brian. Well, it's a singular treat for me to be here. I'm going to keep it short. Dr. Harvitz, don't worry, here we go. Someone once said that hard work is its own reward. I agree with it, but I'm still going to take this award. I want you to know that, Dr. Harvitz. And Major Saunders, I'm going to take it. But I do want to just take a quick opportunity to say thank you to Major Saunders, the staff, the cadets at the Salvation Army's Crestmont College for Officer. A special thank you to our own Dr. Hartman, who's on the staff there too, serves on the staff at the school as a consultant with accreditation. You bring expertise, you bring professionalism, a warm welcome and a smile, and most of all, these cool ties. You ever check out his ties? They're so colorful, and every time I look at them, anyway. But I'm also especially grateful to the two groups back there sitting at the tables. These are colleagues of mine and friends of mine that have been near and dear to my heart and have made such an impact on my life. So thank you for coming. And my beautiful, lovely, intelligent wife, Annalise, she's sitting back there. This award has great significance for me personally. My wife encouraged me to say something about this, but due to circumstances out of my control during my formative years, the early years in high school, I had a very difficult time in education and needed tutoring actually to get through high school. Graduated in 1985 in Bloomfield, New Jersey, and it took me about 3 years, really through sheer determination, to show up on Hunter College's doorstep, if you know Hunter in New York City. And I showed up there and I decided I needed to go to college. And through very difficult times, through remedial coursework, night school, I worked while I did that through the summers and January courses. I accomplished something in 5 years I never thought would ever be possible. I got a bachelor's degree. You remember that moment when you finish that and you get that sheepskin. I can vividly remember taking lunch breaks from my job. I was a messenger in New York City. Boy, I got stories on that. And reading with a ruler, because I couldn't even read very well, with a ruler those old Penguin classics in the boiler room during my lunch break. I would go down there while I take my lunch and just very slowly go through because I wanted to read the Iliad. I remember that was something I had to get through. After finishing Hunter, I went to Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary in Boston and really spent that first year there and was almost ready to throw the towel in. I was studying a Master of Divinity and just felt like it wasn't really my thing. Before leaving, however, I talked to a professor that I had a connection with, a wonderful man who's now a good mentor and friend of mine. And I remember this because I just waited outside his door, and then I just spilled to him, and I just rambled on and on about, I'm not sure if this is right for me. Academically, I'm not sure I'm cutting it. And all he said was this. He said, and I've said this to my students a number of times, he said, Billy, you need to do what makes your soul sing. And so I decided to stay the course, but I switched my major to history, because history made my soul sing. It was great, and I'll tell you why I tell you these two stories. Because while you look at the journey of your own education, both of these stories play into the lives of my students now. It tells me that I'm paying it forward. All of that I learned through the experiences, the hard times, the good times. And it's what we do as educators, isn't it? We pay things forward. We teach good work ethic, right? Work hard, play hard. But we inspire people. And a good part of my dealings with the students is inspiration, helping them connect with something that's unique to them and the way that God made them. So we introduce them really to that unknown thing and a catalyst for really that aha moment. Finally, I'll make it quick. I want to thank all of you. And I just don't say this in a cliche way. As Brian mentioned, Major Saunders mentioned, 2011, my wife and I, along with our two little girls at the time, 4 and 2, since then we've added a little baby California boy to the mix, to the Francis clan. Well, we moved to California from Times Square. It was a very difficult move, leaving our family and our friends. And it was a very lonely time. But I mean this when I say it. The Palos Verdes school system, in a way, uplifted our whole family. When my two girls, and I'm just so moved tonight to have Amy Sternal here. I know you're going to hate this, but I saw you out there. This woman is the best kindergarten teacher I've ever met. She taught Callie, and now she's teaching Savannah. And it's not only you, Amy, but I mean, I hear the stories of Miss Hadley. Even when I saw you just now, I said, "Oh, hi, Mrs. Sternal," right? But all of these people, these wonderful people that have really just taken my family under their wing. And you do that. You inspire them. Thank you, Amy, for all that you do in that. It's okay. Thank you, Amy. You're wonderful. You made a difference in my life, and I just thank you. This is very humbling for me to get this award. Thanks, all.